So earlier this week on Wednesday, I made a recruiting video talking about who could be the next prospect to commit to Georgia. And since then, both of the guys that I started that video off talking about, four-star wide receiver Tyler J. Williams and three-star wide receiver Landon Roven, have both committed to Georgia. So I'm going to talk about those two players and why they are probably better than you think and why Georgia fans should be really excited about these two. Now, they're not C.J. Wiley, right, who chose Florida State over Georgia, which is still shocking, but, I don't think Georgia's completely out of it. But I'm going to talk about these two right now, and no, they're not as good as C.J. Wiley, but I'm telling you, these guys can play, and they are good enough to play at Georgia. Now, Tyler Williams was a guy that jumped on board the next day, right? So he is a guy from Florida, four-star, who has good size, 6'1", 195. He is a big play machine, okay? Let's just go over the numbers real quick. Dude only caught 26 passes, took him for 585 yards and 15 touchdowns, 22 and a half yards a catch. When this guy has the ball, good things happen. He can stretch the field, he's got a good catch radius, he's athletic, and he can run. He can run a lot better than I thought he did when I went back and watched the tape over again. He wants to be at Georgia, and he was in Athens for an official visit, and they felt good enough about him as a player to take him. Now, the big question is, could this guy and Landon Roven, who I'm going to talk about in just a second, could they have jumped on board if C.J. Wiley jumped on board in front of them? I'm not sure, but I know these guys are good enough to play. Now, they're going to take 5 receivers in this class, so there's still room for one more. I still believe that they're going to push hard for C.J. Wiley, and it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up flipping to Georgia, right? That wouldn't surprise me at all, really. But Travis Smith Jr. is another wide receiver that I have a hard time, believing Georgia's going to say no to him. So if C.J. Wiley and Travis Smith Jr. both want to jump on board, they either take 6 or tell someone else, hey, this guy's coming in to take your spot. He's higher on our board. It is what it is. They have to bring in the best wide receivers possible. And it's not always a clean, business. Recruiting can get a little, I don't want to say shady at times, but the goal is to bring in the best players. Tyler J. Williams, does a good job of tracking the ball in the air. You watch him, he can up in the screen game, the intermediate game. He can stretch the field, and the guy scores touchdowns. That's all he does. When he has the ball, he can break tackles. He can run by guys. He can run through guys, and he's got the size. 5 touchdowns on special teams as a returner. Now, the question I get is, why didn't they throw the ball to him more often? He only caught 26 passes, scored 15 touchdowns. That's a really good question. He'll be at a different high school. He'll be at Armwood this fall, and I think they're going to give him more opportunities to play. But he's a really good player, and he's ranked number 49 prospect in Florida, number 56 wide receiver, number 361 overall. That ranking's not going to really excite a lot of Georgia fans. Just trust me here. Turn on the film, look what he did, and the guy's a touchdown machine. He's scored more than half the times when he got the ball, okay? The numbers are the numbers, and the film's the film. He's got good film. This is a loaded wide receiver group across the country. No, he's not as good as C.J. Wiley. I'm not trying to say that he is or make excuses for Georgia for missing on C.J. Wiley for now. But Tyler Williams, I think, is better than people think. And if you go back and watch the film, which you can on DAWG HOUSE, you can read a full breakdown about him, scouting report, highlights, everything over on DAWG HOUSE for free. So make sure you do that. Make sure you do that. The kid can absolutely play, and he's got sure hands, and he can help in a lot of different ways. So that's a solid pickup. He's a 4-star guy. Now, 3-star Landon Roven. You want to talk about speed? Okay, you can look at the 3-star ranking all you want, and you can say, well, no one really offered him until June. Yeah, Georgia found this kid. He could have gone to Vanderbilt. He could have gone to Georgia Tech. So he did have some offers, but he lit up a 7-on-7 tournament in Athens in mid-June, and the staff said, boom, you've got an offer, right? We don't know if you can commit right now. We've got guys higher on their board, which is reality. But when he was able to and got the green light to jump on board, he didn't miss out on that opportunity. 4.4 speed is 4.4 speed. He ran it multiple times at camp, okay? Dude's not getting any slower. And he's got sure hands. He's another guy who can test the field. He can make a tough catch in traffic, throw the ball up to him. He's got good size too. Let's see, it's here on the website. I think he's around that 6'1", 190-pound range as well. So yeah, he's 6'1", 180. So same type of height as Tyler J. Williams, little lighter. But he's a 4'4" guy. Caught 50 passes, 1,029 yards, 13 touchdowns. He's productive. He's versatile. He ran the ball 14 times for 79 yards, 3 touchdowns. He can help in the return game. He's flying by guys. And he knows how to run a route. He's a crafty receiver, sure-handed, can get in and out of his breaks. He knows how to run a route, but it's the speed, the straight line speed. He's running by guys. He's a local kid out of North Oconee. And I'm telling you, they wouldn't have offered him if they didn't think they could play, or at least they wouldn't have accepted his commitment if they didn't think he was good enough to play at Georgia. Real quick, collegebronze.com. This is a 5-star product. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm not a salesman. I'm a football guy. I try to tell y'all, keep you up to date on recruiting and the team, and I'm telling y'all who's going to jump on board before they do it, all that. This guy sells itself, though. Look at this bad boy. You can get yours today with a discount. Promo code DAWGPOST, DAWGPOST. Put them in your backyard, right? Put them on your front porch. Put them by the pool. Put them in your office. You're going to love it. Get yours today with a discount. It's the best deal in the world. It really is. How about that for a sales pitch? Get it today so you have it for the football season. All the information is in the description below in this video. Help your boy out and get you the #1 Bulldog statue on the market. So, where does Georgia go from here? Right? They've got 4 receivers: Thomas Blackshear, Talon Taylor, Tyler J. Williams, Landon Roven. Guys with size, guys with speed. I can tell you right now, the staff is happy with the class that they currently have. Now, they're going to still push for C.J. Wiley, as they should. He was higher on their board than the 2 guys they accepted. But I'm telling you, I think both of these players are better than you think. A lot of guys just look at the ranking. They don't look at the highlights. They don't look at the numbers. And the tape are there on both of these kids. Landon Roven should have had a lot more offers. And I guarantee you, I make the rankings over at Prep Red Zone. He's a top 60 player in the state. And I'd like to see more of him. I'm excited to go watch him play in person this fall. But he's a guy, when you look and you really can tell what type of player he is, a guy that can help you in a lot of different ways. The staff saw him and said, we know he can run, and he looks like he's an above average route runner right now. We can take that and turn him into a really good player. Ladd McConkey was not considered elite when he got to Georgia. A.D. Mitchell was not considered elite when he got to Georgia. By the time they left, they were both elite, okay? So the rankings are the rankings. It's not an exact science, right? Guys emerge late. Guys come into camp and earn an offer, and everyone's thinking, wow, we had him at a 3-star. Let's go back and look at this. Why did we have him as a 3-star? Tyler Williams, he only caught 26 balls, but every time he's going 22.5 yards, okay? And you can read a scouting report and watch highlights on both these guys, again, for free over on Dawg Post. But they're not going to turn down C.J. Wiley if he wants to jump on board. They will make room for him in this class. Landon Roven, Tyler Williams did not take his spot, okay? If C.J. Wiley wants to jump on board, they're going to welcome him with open arms, as they should. Travis Smith Jr., too. They're not going to tell that kid no because these guys jumped on board. They want to take a big class. They only signed 2 wide receivers in the last cycle. A lot of these guys are going to leave after this year, and a lot of guys who are buried on the depth chart transferred this offseason, right? So they need guys in this class. They need really good players, a lot of them. And whoever signs with Georgia in this 2025 class at wide receiver, I think has an opportunity to see the field early next year and compete for playing time. You don't say that every year. But if you look at the big picture, yeah, there's a real chance some of these guys in the 25 class have a chance to impress and see the field early. And when you run a 4.4 like Landon Roven does, and you score touchdowns at the rate that Tyler Williams does, both of those guys are getting an opportunity to showcase what they have and possibly see the field early. So they're both guys who can play on the outside and on the perimeter and in the slot. They can both block. These are good football players, okay? They don't have 5 stars next to their name. I think Landon Roven could have a 4th star by his name, but Tyler Williams is a 4-star, right? You don't need elite wide receivers to win championships at Georgia. You need an offensive line. That's great, and they have one. They've got quarterbacks coming in who are really good. They recruit and develop tight ends better than anyone. You could say that A.D. Mitchell turned into an elite player at Georgia. Ladd McConkey turned into an elite player at Georgia. Dillon Bell is becoming a really, really good player. These guys are going to get developed at Georgia. To say Georgia doesn't develop wide receivers is ridiculous. That's only something that a very casual college football fan would say. These guys get better at Georgia. And even if they get better and they don't see the field, they go somewhere else. That doesn't mean they regressed or stayed the same. If you go to Georgia, you're going to be developed. It's part of the program. It's part of the culture. It's part of the competitive nature that they have there. You go, you compete, you get better. And if you're not playing, yeah, you can transfer somewhere else. But if you do see the field, it's because you got developed a lot and you beat out a lot of good players. These are good players, okay? I'm not saying they're better than C.J. Wiley. I'm not saying they're better than Travis Smith Jr. But these are good players, and I think Georgia fans need to learn more about them if they don't already. That's what I'm trying to say. Good players. Georgia landed 2 wide receivers in this class. A lot of people are going to just not care, but they should. They're really good players. You can read more about them over on Dawg Post. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the website.